What is up, guys? I'm Kyle at Fortune. Today we're taking care of some small things on the Suburban to make it a little bit more fun to drive. So here's the factory stereo, and it actually works pretty well. I have a feeling these speakers are going to sound way better with the new deck. But this one does have its limitations, and even though this is the upgraded rich people version, look at that CD player, it's only a single DIN, so it's only going to take up this part with the kit I have, and then I'll have to figure out what I want to do with this area. I don't know, maybe I'll figure out how to put some switches down there or something, be able to use this space. Another common Chevy problem, sagging headliner. Not so bad on this side, but that needs to get fixed. And on one of my first trips out, I actually ripped this off. We were headed up to Signal Peak and I went to go pull it out of this end, and because I'm so strong, I just ripped it all the way off, and now I need a new one. But you wouldn't believe how hard these things are to find. I've gone through all the trucks in Pick and Pull many times and they do not have any. Luckily, my brother was tearing apart an OBS and he got me a used one that is not in perfect shape, but it's definitely gonna be better than nothing, because right now I basically have to wear a ball cap and sunglasses to be able to drive without crashing into anybody when I've got the sun in my eyes. It's not this same style that has a clip it snaps into, but hopefully it'll do the trick for now, because like I said, these things are really hard to find. So here's the deck I went with. I've been using Pioneer stereos since my very first car, and I just love them. I think all decks have come a long way, but there are a few things that are essential when you're buying a new deck, and one of them is this right here, this BT designation at the end of the model number. Now that means that this is going to be a Bluetooth radio. It also has some cool apps that sync with it. You can match the colors of the buttons and the display with the interior lights in your vehicle, which isn't a huge deal, but it is kind of cool to be able to do that. Not really sure why, but this deck comes with some earbuds, so if that's the deciding factor for you, I will put a link to this product I got off of Amazon in the description below, so make sure you get your free Squiggly brand. We've got the harness for the deck, connector set for 86 to 05 GM vehicles, the antenna converter going from the smaller Chevy one into the bigger ones that these decks use, and of course the kit to put it into the truck. So this is going to be a huge upgrade for the Suburban. Bringing it into the 21st century means now we can run our navigation and get the audio through the speakers, which is great because this truck is just a tad too loud to hear it while you're driving around. But we can also answer calls and place calls through the Bluetooth. We can press a button and have the navigation app launch. These are all things that we just take for granted now because pretty much every car has them. But 25, 30 years ago, a lot of these vehicles didn't. So this is a huge upgrade for us that are bringing these vehicles back from the dead. So I just cut up a bunch of heat shrink to put around these bare wires. I didn't use any butt connectors or anything. I'm sure there's a good reason why you should. Heated them up using this lighter because I didn't have a heat gun, and plus it's an excuse to play with fires. Alright, we've got the harness all hooked up, put a little bit of heat shrink around it to keep everything nice and tight. We've got a few extras. We've got this blue wire, which I believe is the antenna amplifier. That one I just kind of crimped to itself to make sure it doesn't touch anything else. This blue with a white stripe is the remote control, so that doesn't need to be hooked up to anything. Otherwise, this adapter made it nice and easy. We just matched up the colors. Now we'll plug it in and see what catches on fire. Alright, first things first. Got to get this shifter all the way down, and we've got to put our steering wheel tilt all the way down as well. Yeah, man, back in 97 this truck had it all. All right, we've got our new kit in there for the single din. Now all we need to do is connect our antenna adapter and our harness. We should be able to slide the deck in. So far this kit seems to be pretty awesome, but I do need to put these brackets on here to hold the deck in. And you can see they have these countersunk screws that go on there. But unfortunately, when you put them in, they're not long enough because these are recessed a little bit. So I had to go get some longer ones from the hardware store. Not a big deal. I went with some that were, I don't know, probably twice as long. And as you can see, the thread is just a tiny bit more coarse, and that really helped them go in. Here's a look at the Loctite adhesive spray that I'm going to be using. Nothing fancy. Strength is middle, so should do enough. I'm just putting it on some thin fabric, so we'll see how it goes. All right, we did it. We've got our new visor on there. It doesn't clip in on this side, but that's okay. It's pretty stiff, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. Got the microphone hooked up in the corner, running down the pillar and behind the dash here. Got our new stereo, Bluetooth, hands-free, all that jazz. Welcome to 2004. And last but not least, our headliner is glued back on, and it's nice and flat. That's a day of wins right there. All right, while I was back there, I unhooked these electronic switches for the TK since my new one is floor shifter. I just wanted to point something out while I was here. I've got 2 CD players now, and you know, I don't want you guys to be jealous, but you guys probably only have one. I don't know, maybe even none, but try not to think about that. For the money, I think you get a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to this deck. But it is missing a few things I would like to see, especially like a bigger display. I'd like to be able to configure the clock a little bit bigger, because that's all I really care about knowing on there. But even if you run it by itself, it's just this little clock. Not a big deal. Also, it doesn't come with a remote. I've had a remote in almost every other car I've had, and I've never used it. But in the Suburban, I could see myself chilling in the back and want to power it off or change a song or something like that. But instead, this one has this Pioneer Smart Sync, so we should just be able to do it on our phone. Looking forward to trying this out. Well, that's it, guys. A lot of small things. Hopefully it's going to make the Suburban more fun to drive, and it'll definitely be safer to drive, so I'm not messing with my phone the whole time. And also I'll be able to see when it's sunny out, which is pretty important, I'd say. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you want to see some of the other things I've done to the Suburban over these past few months, go ahead and check out my channel, or you can look at some of these other videos. Hopefully soon there'll be more wheeling videos, but up until then, if you have any ideas for something you want to see or something you want to see on the Suburban, let me know. I'll make a video about it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.